Prepare to delve into the unseen, where true horror stories and chilling scares are the norm. Welcome to Scariest Things, your portal to true crime narratives and true stalker stories that will leave you breathless. From the unnerving experiences of a teenager's first car purchase to the terrifying encounters of online transactions gone wrong, we bring you true scary stories that serve as stark reminders of the potential dangers hidden in the shadows of online platforms like Craigslist. These are not just scary stories. They are scary true stories, filled with disturbing details and chilling scares that will leave you questioning the safety of seemingly mundane situations. So buckle up as we take you on a roller coaster ride through the dark side of the internet, where every turn can lead to a true horror story. Remember, these are not just stories. They are scary true stories, and they could happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and remember, not everything is as it seems in the world of scariest things. First story. In this true story, at the tender age of 17, I set out on a quest to buy my first car. My daily ritual involved scouring Craigslist for a modest, dependable vehicle that would meet my basic commuting needs. With a budget of $3,000, I was restricted to cars from 2004 or earlier. One day, a 2002 Honda Accord piqued my interest. Listed at $2,000, and with fewer than 80,000 miles on the clock, it appeared to be a bargain. The seller, a 20-minute drive away, consented to a viewing. During our brief phone chat, he seemed courteous and answered my queries about the car, prompting me to inspect it. A peculiar incident occurred when he repeated my name, Dan, claiming it as his own, but I dismissed it as an odd coincidence. The next day, my mother joined me on a trip to the seller's place. As we left the highway and ventured into the neighborhood, we were startled by its dilapidated state. The seller's house, sandwiched between two others, was equally off-putting. Accessed via a narrow lane leading to a cluster of houses, the property had the car parked behind a court in a space that could loosely be described as a driveway. This true horror story serves as a reminder of the chilling scares one can encounter in the most mundane situations. In this true and disturbing tale, we approached the front door and knocked, uncertain of the doorbell's functionality. A voice from an open window welcomed us inside, assuring us the door was unlocked. Despite my mother's apprehensions, we stepped into the dimly lit house, expecting to meet Dan. A voice, deeper than the one I'd heard on the phone, called us from beyond a door at the end of the kitchen. Sensing something was off, my mother insisted we depart. As we rushed back to our car, a woman from a neighboring house shouted out to us. She cautioned us about the man next door, voicing her long-held worries about his suspicious activities, including frequent late-night visits by random cars. When we inquired if his name was Dan, she seemed unsure, remembering that he had introduced himself as Mike. Taking her advice to heart, we swiftly exited the area. This true horror story serves as a stark reminder to always exercise caution when interacting with strangers, especially in scary true stories like this one. It felt like a true stalker story straight out of a Reddit thread, replete with chilling scares. The dash cam in our car recorded our rapid exit, adding another dimension to this true crime narrative. Always trust your instincts, as they can shield you from horror stories like this one. Second story. In this true horror story, my close friend Chris and his family had a disturbing encounter that would forever change their perception of online transactions. They decided to sell their old 55-inch Samsung 4K TV on Craigslist, a platform unfamiliar to them. John, Chris's brother, took the lead and posted the ad, pricing the TV at $200 and providing their father Rick's contact information for interested buyers. A week passed before a man named Toby showed interest in the TV. He initially planned to pick it up from their house at 10 p.m., but later requested to meet at a Circle K parking lot instead, claiming his car was low on fuel. Rick, Chris, and John, unaware of the chilling scares that awaited them, loaded the TV into Rick's pickup truck and embarked on a 50-mile journey to meet Toby. Upon reaching the location, they were greeted by Toby, a tall, bulky man with a goatee, refueling his black Nissan Altima. He expressed concern that the TV might not fit in his car and asked them to follow him to his house. They agreed and trailed behind him down a scary back road, filled with trees and potholes. The final destination was a tall, deserted-looking building at the end of the road. As they started unloading the TV, 3 men, including Toby, stepped out of the car, wielding guns. They demanded everything Rick, Chris, and John had: their wallets, phones, and the TV. After this terrifying encounter, the men drove off, leaving Rick, Chris, and John unharmed but deeply shaken. They returned home and reported the incident to the police, providing them with the car's license plate number, which Rick had memorized. Despite their efforts, they received no news of any arrests. This true crime incident marked their first and last experience with Craigslist, serving as a disturbing reminder of the potential dangers hidden in the shadows of online transactions. This is one of those true scary stories that serves as a cautionary tale for all. Third story. In 2012, during the heyday of Craigslist, my house fell victim to a burglary. Valuables, including 2 TVs, an Xbox 360, my entire video game collection, hockey skates, and some cash, were stolen. Despite the police's efforts, no evidence was found to identify the thief, and their lack of assistance was disheartening. The task of replacing the stolen items was daunting, especially considering the value of the video game collection. I started with the TVs and turned to Craigslist for affordable options. An ad for a 40-inch Panasonic TV, the same brand I previously owned, caught my attention. I contacted the seller and visited his house that night. The house was in a deplorable state, but what caught my attention was the TV in his back room. It was identical to the one stolen from my living room. A closer look around the room revealed another TV and an Xbox, both eerily similar to my stolen items. The Xbox even had a distinctive scratch that matched mine. Confronting the man, I accused him of being the thief. His demeanor changed instantly, and he ordered me out of his house, revealing a gun holster. Living in Texas, it was likely he had a license to carry. I left immediately and called the police. The man refused to let the police in without a warrant and claimed I was harassing him. The police informed me that they couldn't obtain a warrant until the next day. That night, as I was researching legal options, I heard a window break downstairs. Instinctively, I escaped through my window and sought refuge at my neighbor's house. The police arrived within 10 minutes, and using my spare key, they searched my house again. To my horror, they found the man hiding under my bed, armed with a gun. He was arrested and later found guilty of breaking and entering with intent to commit murder. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Despite this, I moved to a new town and changed my number to erase any trace that could lead him to me upon his release. The thought of him being out due to good behavior is chilling. This true crime experience, all over items worth less than $1,000, has left me convinced that Craigslist can be one of the most dangerous places on the internet. This true horror story serves as a disturbing reminder of the potential dangers lurking in online transactions. Fourth story. In 2012, I found an ad on Craigslist for a free mini fridge, perfect for the man cave I was setting up in my basement. The house, located on a cliff overlooking a vast lake, was breathtaking. The seller, John, informed me that only his elderly, hard-of-hearing mother would be home and instructed me to let myself in and find the fridge in the far-right bedroom. Upon arrival, I was struck by the beauty of the setting sun over the cliff. I texted John, who reiterated his instructions. As I entered the house, a familiar smell of cotton filled the air, reminiscent of my grandmother's house. However, As I ventured down a narrow hallway towards the far right bedroom, the smell turned foul, akin to a rotting animal. The source of the smell was a horrifying sight: the decomposing body of an elderly woman on the bed. Suddenly, maniacal laughter and stomping sounds echoed from upstairs, sending chills down my spine. I fled the house and noticed two masked figures in the upstairs and downstairs windows. My phone buzzed with a series of ominous texts from John, the last one mockingly reminding me about the fridge. I immediately reported the incident to the police, who later investigated the house and found the woman's body. Despite my detailed account and the suspicious text messages, the police were unable to trace the presumably fake number John had used. A week later, my inquiry about the case was met with indifference from the police station. To this day, I don't know if the culprits were ever caught or if they were responsible for the woman's death. This true horror story from Craigslist, a disturbing tale of a seemingly innocent ad leading to a chilling scare, serves as a stark reminder of the potential dangers lurking in the corners of the internet. It's a scary true story that still haunts me, making me question the safety of online platforms like Craigslist.